Welcome to this little bombed out village in France. Our objective is the bombed out church, actually, and to control the church and the roads leading into the town is what we have to do. We've set up all our orders in the previous episode, so welcome guys. My name is DasTactic, and again I'll just start with a special thank you to my Patreon supporters and anyone that does support the channel through merchandise or through coffee.com/DasTactic or any of those sorts of different sorts of things. Anyway, we're going to basically press play, but before we do, one thing I forgot to do in the tank, there's all sorts of different things you can do. It's so detailed, this game. We've got all our movement commands. They've all been set up to sort of move across and then move in behind this particular building, this particular tank. But one thing we didn't do was, there's the combats, then we've got the specials. I can open it up. Now, before I start, I can just click on open, and he will then open up the turret, or not the turret, but the top in through there, and be ready to, and this will help him spot. Initially, we want him spotting until it gets dangerous, and then he'll button up anyway, usually, but we don't want him being shot at, but essentially it allows him to then see things a bit more clearly. It does help initially with the tanks. So I'm going to deselect everything. So I'll keep it here and just show you what my process is for doing this. And I don't know how much of this I'll do as I play through. I will be pausing this a little bit as we play. I press either 4 or 5. If I press 4, can I see everyone? And pretty much I can. I can also see the rest of it. If I press 5, 5 is probably a little bit better. If I press C, I need to see the whole battlefield. So as long as I can see so I just press C, which is the sort of fisheye type lens. And what we're going to look at is, if I have a unit selected, I'm only seeing the perspective of that unit as the turn progresses. If I deselect all of the units, I then get to see the global. If they see a unit, I'll then see it globally as it sort of does come through. Now, hang on, oh yeah, that's right. I thought there was some missing. We shouldn't see any anyway over this other side, but sometimes they can spot different things. So let's just go and let the turn run forward. So we'll just go into here. Oh, by the way, if I just go to menus, conditions are heavy fog. Okay, so it's going to make, I thought it looked foggy. So we do actually have heavy fog, which is going to reduce the visibility, which is going to be interesting. So it's going to be a fairly close fight. Let's just let it go. The temperature is warm. The ground conditions are wet, so it's going to be a little bit muddy. We may have troubles with bogging with what's going on. We have a medium wind from the southeast as well. So any of the, and you can see there, we're facing due north when we look down through here. So from the southeast, it's blowing this way. If we put any smoke down, it's going to blow across in that direction from the bottom right to top left. Okay, so that's conditions. It is worth doing that, have a bit of a look. Let's just go and let the game play out. Now what it's going to do is it's going to then compute the action and then just play it out for us, and we can then sort of see what goes on. Now we want to see, this one we told it to pause. These are going to rattle through, but they may get bogged. If they get bogged, that's not going to be good. This one's 10 seconds after this one goes. This one's now moving forward. These are running down towards and they'll find their best way, like the safest and best way. These guys are using the road because it's the fastest way for them to jog into town rather than jogging through the fields, the wet fields. So we've got a few that are still sort of jogging their way through. This one's now coming back through. We've still got half a minute actually, so these guys are now going to struggle. This one it's okay again. They can get bogged, but he has slowed right down. Now he has to move out of the way of the one coming in behind it. He's now sort of stopped a little bit. That may be a bit of a problem for them. And we're looking to see if there's any other movement that we see. Now we're not going to see it yet, so we can sort of just do what we're doing. We're now done, basically. That's where we are. Now our tank got to position. So to see what went on there, at this point in time, I like to save it here. So if I just go to menus and then save, this is going to be DAS001. I'll just save over the top of the other ones. So save game. That way I can come back and look at the replay. Now, I'm guessing that really, let's just have a quick look at, for example, the tank. If I just go and replay the whole thing, if I go and grab the tank, press number 1, press tab, and I can then sort of follow it, maybe just press number 2. I can sort of then, I'll just do that again. If I just press tab again, and I can then sort of zoom in as well if I wanted to, just to have a little bit of a look what he does. I can rotate around the tank a little bit, and when we actually just go and play it, we can then sort of see what's happening from his perspective as he sort of then rolls through. So we can sort of start to look at things this way. I can zip forward, nothing much really happened. Let's just zip forward until he gets close to this area. We told him to slow down. He smashes through the through there. So that's now been made into rubble. He's now sort of moving back into position. I can just keep on rotating around again. And so he's now in a hidden position behind this bombed out building. And he's now got fields of fire, and we can sort of see accurately what he can see. So he can look down into this area. So we'll just keep him hidden there for now, and that's the unit lock. So that's, as soon as I move away, that gets done. So you can certainly just keep it. I like to have the replay available. When we're done with this one, we then go and click the red button again, the flashing red button, and then we'll be out of this particular mode. And then we're now into giving order mode again. But by having the save, I wish there was an actual auto save at the other point. It would be so useful. I haven't actually had a look to see if it is there, but that's something I would love to see. Now, we had some problems in here. Look at this. This guy is sort of struggling. He's where he needs to be ultimately, but he's now blocking the road, and he's trying to position himself slowly back up into there. He is okay. It's just, oh, he's bogged. Okay, so he's actually bogged in that area. So he's no longer able to move. This one here is actually okay as well, but we need to get these guys into position. Now, the fact that this one is now bogged is going to now stop me from moving this one effectively. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now change what we're doing here because we now have an issue. So if we have a look at the, so when we give the orders, we now need to sort of cater for this one being bogged. I'm going to try to dislodge it, but look, we're where we need to be with most of the stuff. Let's just go and deal with it. So let's just go and press the down arrow just so we can sort of look down a little bit on what's going on here and just give them the actual orders. So I'm going to go now to this unit here and just tell it to move across. Now if I just tell it to move into this location, level 1, so it's just going to go and dismount. I then select this one and I just go and tell it. So once it's actually in that position, I want it to then set up inside that area. Now I can do with that one selected, I can press G and just make sure it is sort of facing down that mode. Actually, that was not it. G, hang on, that's combat. Oh, hang on, I can't do the facing yet. What we can do though, special, I can deploy the weapon there. So we'll dismount and deploy the weapon inside that garage. So we've got a small garage near there, and so they're just going to be inside setting up that. That's going to give them a nice field of fire down this laneway, and that will be important, I think. The other thing we had is we had the commander that was actually going to come back. I might pop the commander in this bombed out building here, or I might even put the commander back over in here somewhere. So let's go and race the commander across. So with the commander selected, just go back to movement. I'm going to get him to jog into this part of town and just go up to the 3rd level and hide there. So he'll hide inside that part of the church. So at least he's there. Now the Panzer Shrek and all these other ones, I'm going to grab this Panzer Shrek. I'm going to get him to jog as well from here. I'm going to actually stop this. So let's just go and press backspace. And so that's now not going to be moving in that position anymore. We'll leave that one where that is because it can't get past the bogged vehicle, and so without it being a bit of a problem. Now we do have the Panzer Grenadiers, and I need these guys to run into the front of the church. If you have a bit of a look at the church itself, I want them in here so that they can fire out at anyone that sort of is moving into that front area. So these guys, it's important that they do that. So we're just going to have to get them to jog from in here. At least they're a fair way along. So we're just going to press I to go quick, and we'll just move that one to there, dismount, and then straight into here, level 1. And once they actually reach that area, we're just going to press H. So they'll just hide when they get there. So that will be their job. So they'll dismount to there essentially. So I might just bring that one back a little bit this way. They'll find their own way there. Panzer Shrek as well. I'll just press, now we've already got one that's moving up to the top. I might just move another one so we're sort of about halfway up. So we'll just press I again, so dismount to there, and then across into here. We'll just go to say level 5 and then hide, so they'll be sort of halfway up, so that way they should be able to sort of peer out and have a bit of a look to see what else is coming. This vehicle, I'm just going to leave it there for now. The vehicle that's here, I'm going to still allow it to try to get rid of the bog. Like, it will eventually unbog itself and move on up. This is where knowing what the conditions are is quite important. That's the only tricky thing that I have to do. This one is still coming back into its position in here. Now, we're through essentially because we're on the road. We just have to bypass this little area. It will still try to find its own way through. Let's go in and set this one up as well. And so with the group that's actually on that vehicle, it's been hard to sort of see. I might just use the down and just position this one up a little bit higher. Whoops, where are we? Let's go and bring our machine gun. The heavy machine guns are the important things at this point in time. So I'm going to tell it to move into here. So it will dismount into this location. We're going to go to level 1. And with that one selected, I'm just going to go across to special and deploy the weapon. And just so we've sort of got it then deployed in the bottom of that particular building. And then we've got the half squad that we actually had there before, the other team. And I want that to be in this area or in this area. Now we had the Panzers, the Panzer Grenadiers were moving into that one there. Let's move that one into here. So that will be I run into level 1. You might make this one level 2, and we'll just get that one to hide. So it will just be there for when we need it. This one I'll still move this one along because we want this one to sort of get where it is. Just press number 4 again, reset what we're looking at. The others are still all running. They've all still got their orders. They've got their orders. Everyone else is fine. So in this point, at this point, where actually everything is looking good. So I don't really need to worry too much about anything else. What we can now do is just go back again, and again I just want to press number 5 or 4. Probably 4 would be the better one at this stage. Just rotate around. Now press C again, just so we've sort of got like a bit of a fisheye. That way we can see everything. Actually, if I press 5 with this, yeah, this is probably the better option. I can then just come down a little bit and just get what I need. We want to be looking at what's happening in around us, so hopefully they won't be here just yet. But let's just let things sort of develop. These guys are a bit slow because they're running through wet fields. These guys are jogging along the road. These ones are doing fairly well. They're jogging through grass, so it's not too bad. And then we'll just have to abandon these vehicles at this point in time. So hopefully we won't see anything just yet. Let's end the turn there. Now you can also save after you give all your orders. So these guys are all getting off, but we want to look mainly to see if we see anyone. We're seeing a bit of movement, so they're all getting off the vehicles, doing what they're doing, moving into position, hopefully. That's actually moved quite nicely. Still not seeing anyone, which is good. It's a good sign. It's trying to navigate. These are actually getting into position fairly well, as are these. Okay, well, we're sort of moving fairly well. We've still got 25 seconds. Oh, there we go. There's some sort of tank moving over there. So we do have the Panzerfaust, and we have our tank as well. So we can't identify it yet. Now, I've got nothing selected, so I don't know who's actually seeing that one. We might have a bit of a look. Eventually we'll pick up what that is. It's just an unknown armour, and hopefully it won't see what we've got coming into the church. There's another one there, and another one. Wow, 3 armour. This is going to be a bit tricky. It could just be armoured cars like what we've got, or it could be tanks. So at this point in time, all we know is if we just press number 3, say for example, and have a bit of a look, we are aware that there's units in here. There's some sort of tank. Looks like a small tank is what we think it might be. And there's another one back in here. Now, if you start to lose track of where things actually are, just remember that Alt-T is your friend. That will then sort of, and Alt-T a second time, we'll just put it up like this so we can sort of see that there is another vehicle back in through this side. It's not moved off too much. Small tank, small tank, sort of looks like a medium tank in through there. So we're looking at different. It could be jeeps, could be anything. They haven't. We're now streaming down this other side, so we're still in the. We're still sort of watching what does go on here. There's nothing much we can really do. They're just jumping over, getting into position around this particular area, which is good. So the guys are all sort of now running in. How are we going back over here? They're now out of the building. They're now out of where they are and moving into deploy and set up inside that building, which will be good. The back over this way. This guy is still on board. I thought we had given it instructions to move off. Okay, so these have not gotten off here at all. So we're going to have to tell them to basically get out of that particular vehicle. We need this one set up in here. It looks like we chose the right spot in terms of 5 minutes later we're going to be bombarding this area, but these vehicles will be through there. Now that means that we're going to need to use this tank to establish some sort of firepower in through this side. Let's just press number 2 and then just get down to about the level of the gun. What can we see? We can see across to here, but not much else. And the tanks are going to come through that side there. So we can't see much through there. We can if we move out to here. Where we are, we only get to see what's near the church. I think we're going to have to move this one up. So we won't track what's going on again. We'll just keep it going. Like they're going to be running into the church this turn anyway. So they're sort of all now racing in to sort of take control of the central area in town. What we'll do is we're going to position this one with just like there's little holes in this area. We're just going to move up to the burn and then just position ourselves so we can try to then have a look through that particular area. These guys are now moving into position in the building, which is good, and eventually we'll then have to move the tank out. So let's just click on done. So we're now giving orders again. We'll just go back and press A3, and let's just move this tank up into this position where we can get a bit of a field of fire down through that side. So I'm just going to get it to move slowly. So I'm just going to go to N, which is just move, and then we're just going to move it up into this position in here. So it can't move all the way through, but let's just move it into the, say, there. And then just G, we're going to have it just point straight down that way. So it's going to go to that place and then just face and sit there. Now he's still unbuttoned, which is fine because he can then sort of try to sort of see through the and give instructions for the gunner, and we'll just see how we go with that one there. This one here with this group that's still bogged. Now eventually, it's not as if it's disabled, so it will eventually fix itself up. We can sort of see different things, like, you know, everything is actually still working. The tracks are fine, engine, radio, no problem there at all. So everything is fine. We have to get this one off. It should be dismounting. I'm going to stop this one. Let's just go and just press backspace and just leave it where it is for a second and let the others get off. I might just ditch that one for a second, and we'll just go and tell it to press I, dismount, run into the garage, and then at that point go to special and deploy weapon. So we need that done. This one is not super critical. In fact, he should be moving up there, but let's actually just go and get him to now dismount into here and then run across level 3 and hide. Okay, so at least we then have a commander sort of in the middle area. This group does still have its gun. I'm just going to keep that one where that is. This one could still actually even be useful where it is if we can just get the forces out of this. It shouldn't really worry it too much, but you can see there hitting that area there really did actually sort of bog it down with what we were then doing. These guys are all running into position to take positions in town. And these look like they're going to be doing what we want them to do. So that group is then running in. I think we don't have anyone. We've got no one back deep anymore. All right, let's go and play the next turn out. Again, we just want to make sure we can see all of our forces. We don't have anything selected. We've seen a lot of these different units. If we can get a few shots in, that would be fairly useful while we've got the protection in through that particular side. let's just go through and play it again. See how we go. Seconds in, it's now moving up. Now, can it see through? Okay, we've got 5. We've got another big tank coming up. They've now hit these other areas. They're all streaming into the church. Oh, there's heaps of them. It's like a full-on armor group, but there can't be much points. That's the whole thing. Our Panzerschrecks are actually, I'm glad I put them up there. I was sort of concerned about having the Panzerschrecks around. Just get them into position. Okay, and we're now starting to see things. We'll have a look at this when it comes up. It looks like a little armoured car. We had vision there for just a very, very short period of time. Okay, that's the only thing that actually happened. There was no firing back at our way. If we get fired upon and we take any casualties, our units will then start to flash a little bit, and we didn't see any of that. We only saw one. This is why it's good to just get acquainted to this turn from a bit of a distance, and then just go back to what you wanted to have a bit of a look at. Let's go and see if we can identify anything about what actually came along the road here. So if we just go back, I'll just do it by say 10, and we'll just go back in and have another look at the what's going on through this side. We'll just press number 2, and what have we got through this side? We've got ourselves just a small, just a little, not even a jeep. This looks like these look like British paratroopers. Let's have a look and see. So these are just little scout cars with a small machine gun. So these aren't going to do much. Now we can't tell with the difficulty settings we've got as to what the armour is, but our normal machine guns should break through. If we have a look at our vehicles to get a bit of a feel, these would be about the same. These are probably even weaker than the other vehicles that we actually than our actual transport vehicles. So let's have a look at one of our transport vehicles. We'll just press number 4. And zip on back across to one of the ones that are bogged, just to get a bit of a feel for what the armour is on ours. So ours is a little bit bigger and better. Actually, this is better. These are now sort of setting up, and the other one's now moved off as well. So if we have a look at the armour in through this side, if we go across, we can then sort of see what it's got. Now, this shows you what its protection levels are, this little area down through here. The first one is frontal attacks. And so you've got frontal, you've got side attacks, you've got rear, and then you've got top down. And the way it works is with all of these, the bottom one there is small arms fire, so heavy machine guns and things like that would sort of be somewhere in around that area. And these it's a bit protected against them, but it can actually still break through. It doesn't do much damage against that, against small sort of heavy machine or small machine gun fire. The next one is light cannons, so it's sort of like around 50mm guns. The next one is sort of like more your 88 guns, and so any gun at all that fires on one of these things is going to basically destroy it. So these and the enemy will be about the same. If we have a look at our tank as an example, and just have a bit of a look at what that one's got. So this one here, when we look at it, is very hard for machine guns to actually do any real damage against it. Even the medium guns on the frontal armour and on the top don't do a hell of a lot. The front is very, very well protected. The top is pretty well protected, and then the sides and the rear are not all that well protected. So they can get some shots in through there. If it's a big caliber gun, it can still have pretty good protection against the front. And then it's going to, the rear essentially is a bit weaker. This here is rocket grenade type things. This is like your Panzer Force and stuff like that. If one of these hits, it's a bit more of a dangerous story for us. But having said that, this is, I think, for more high power things than the bazookas we're likely to be coming up against. So anyway, that's what we're seeing at this point in time. So I'm just going to go again, and now we are in the replay phase. I'm just going to save this one. This should be turn 2, I think. Oops, hang on. We just moved that one back. We're now done. So we'll just go and save this. This is DasTactic. It would be cool if there was a autosave for these. So we're just right there. We're not seeing anything. I'm thinking that if that's all we're up against, our machine guns, when we set these up, are going to be able to do the job there. They're going to be able to sort of, any vehicle that comes out along this road, aka these guys, as long as we have the machine gun set up, let's just go and get rid of the replay. So this one is setting up in 2.3 minutes. So it's taking a long time to set up. What about these other guys over here? This machine gun is 2 minutes to deploy. Now, so it's still a couple more turns to get all of these things ready. Once that's established and ready, we'll then be able to have more fields of fire coming back out this side. So it's the medium tanks that I'm concerned about. Now that these guys have sort of set themselves up, we've got a driver and the gunner in this particular area. Let's now try to dislodge this. So we'll just go and move this one around. I might try to move this one forward a little bit. So I'm just going to go and just press the N key. Actually, I might just go slow, press O, and just slowly try to pull it out of the bog. Still got this unit at the back. I'm going to keep that one where that is at this point in time. So that will then sort of work out pretty well. And again, there's really not much else that I need to do. What I might do is, now that we know that we've got vehicles coming through, I think the machine guns will do enough damage. So if we just go back up to, say, 3, have a bit of a look to see what we've got. Now we've got these guys are still making their way up. In fact, they're ready to go. So they're actually hiding, or they should be hiding. Yep, they're down low. And there's more groups that are coming back up to the top to hide. So if we have a look at the special, these have got hide designated, and that's okay. I just want them to be able to see what's coming. So we've still got a couple more minutes before all hell breaks loose in here with our artillery. So we'll just keep everything sort of working. Everyone else should be starting to get back into position now. We now have our main command group, which is calling in that particular area back into there. It has reasonable vision everywhere now. It's hiding up there. We've got the group that's just hiding back in through this side to give us some protection on the flank. We've got the big one in through there. Everyone else has now moved pretty much into position. If we just press number 5 again and sort of zoom in a little bit, just so we've got everyone sort of allocated. Again, we deselect and we will end the turn there. I think that, where's that one going? That's in that little area. It's actually more on the other side. So I'm going to go and move this one into this area as well. So I'm just going to tell it to just move. So just end to level 1. And then I'll tell it to hide as well. These guys are in a good position. That one's in a position. This one here, I'm just going to go and tell it to move around and just face back out again. So let's just tell it to go and just move normally. Just move it back this way, and then just go G and just move it so that it faces this way again. So it'll just turn around at that point, and then we can move it up into the corner there if we need to. Everything's looking good. We're in a good position here. We've sort of done well. So it's all starting to sort of play out. Now we don't want to have anything selected, because otherwise when we have different units selected, like if I go and select this unit here, he is aware that there's stuff coming. Generally that's what we know of the situation, but each individual unit will have its own perspective. This one has only been told that there's a tank there. It's only aware that there's like a tank there somewhere. That one there has got a bit more awareness. This is like our best guess from everyone. The Panzer Shreks are seeing more. So they've probably got better than anyone because they've got the vision. These guys here, just a little bit of knowledge. So the perspective from every unit is unique. And so what we don't want to be doing is just watching the battle unfold from that perspective. So let's now just go and unpause, or just go and play out the next one. We're sort of in a good position here. We've got to hope that these things can get set up fairly quickly. And we should start to see more and more come through, particularly as a Panzer Shrek sort of gets into position. He's going to be in position before they do anything. Now, if we see this one solidify, and this one's getting to get a shot. Here we go. This one's now showing its colours. Here it comes. There's a sniper running through. There's other infantry. There's another vehicle at the back there. We'll have a look at that and see what that one is. It looks like it's another scout vehicle. Here we go. Now we're seeing another scout vehicle there. And we're now starting to sort of get shots happening. Mainly from in here. We'll have a look at this in detail. Just want to see if they start to sort of hit us at all. They're trying to flank, which is interesting. All right, so they've brought they've got a lot of these little scout cars. They're not going to be able to really hurt our tank. So our tank, I'm feeling much more comfortable about the tank now. But let's have a look and see what actually happened there. So we saw that there was some firing that went on from this area through here. So what we can now do is just go in and have a bit of a look to see what actually went on from each actual angle, and see who shot at who. We do actually have more of these little scout cars. There is actually, there is a bit more sort of nuanced. This is a 40mm, still an armoured car. It's got a 40mm cannon. So this is like a medium cannon. And it's bogged by the looks of things. So it's now hit this area, and it's actually now in trouble. And this is now a bit of an opportunity for us, and that one looks like it's bogged as well. And so we've got another sort of like a little transport car. They're all over this little area and through here. I think what we might do is when it's our turn is to move the tank. Now this guy is not aware of any of this. He can't see it through there. I'm going to have to move him down into here. So I'm going to reverse and then reverse in, and that way he should be able to then spot effectively. He's still actually unbuttoned, so that will be what we do there. Let's have a look and see what we see from this one a bit closer in here now, as to who's shooting at who. So if we just go all the way back and just play it forward again, so we're playing the turn again. So that one moves off. That's where it starts to get a bit more interesting. Just make sure we've got nothing selected. These will now get into position, and they should then hide. So they're now at the top of the steeple. We can see that one looks like he's bogged as well. There's more moving up. We want to sort of get them close. There we go. Machine gun has actually now started to fire. Oh, this one's actually unbogged itself, and there's that one there is firing. These guys are now firing from down in here as well. That's a sniper. Yeah, this one's now moving across. Now pause. Need to go back. What do we know about this one over here? We now have a cruiser tank. Okay, this has now got a big gun, 75mm. So this is the danger. This is the one tank that's the danger. So we need to hunt that tank down with our tank. We can't see it yet. We may get a shot. Now, by the time we finish, it's over here somewhere, which means that I'm going to have to wait for it down along this area for it to break through. It probably will try to get onto this road. So we definitely want to make sure that we hit it from an angle when it comes outside here, I think. So it will probably come through this gate and then down this other side. We're going to have an opportunity there to do some damage to it. Now our leader should be able to see into that field the whole time. Now I'll just let it go. We've still got 13 seconds left in this particular run. So that's now moving off. This one its hits there and bogged. Now I don't want to. This is now a bit of a change of plan because I no longer care about these because I know that my machine guns can now take care of that. So we'll come back now. We've now got. They're trying to bypass us. So we've actually been able to pull them out of the bog through here. So let's now start to use these a bit more effectively. So we'll just go back across, and I've pretty got one more turn, I think, and then we'll have to sort of change what we're doing. The machine gun, let's just go and get rid of the replay. Actually, I think I forgot to save it anyway. I keep on forgetting. That's why it would be great if it had an autosave. It's still semi-deployed. It's 2.3 minutes. It is being deployed at the moment. So we've still got a bit of time up our sleeve with that one. It will eventually happen, but just not yet. So by going slowly, we got out of the bog. Let's now just move onto the road and then move it up a little bit, and we'll then sort of use its guns over here into this field. So, and we'll send our tank back up this way a little bit, just to sort of, we need to hunt that other tank down. That's going to be important. And really, the only thing we can use is either the Panzer Force that are back up in through here, both of them in the tower, or the tank. And so it's going to be a tank versus tank fight. Now, we thought there was another tank at the back through here as well. So we'll need to sort of do this. I love playing these random maps because you don't know what you're going to get. So it's sort of, it's fairly interesting. Okay, so orders. We'll just go and press N. So we're just going to move this one up as per usual. And I'm just going to move this one into this position over here, I think. And just have it facing out through the through that area. There is a bogged area, a bogged one down in here somewhere. Now, if I show my colours with this tank, I'm going to be in trouble. I can reverse back up into here, and then reverse even further up. I think I can see over this. That might be worth doing, you know. I think what we might do is reverse into there and then go forward up into there, and that way we can just look across for when this tank actually hits this region. So let's go and do that. So we're just going to go into movement. We're going to reverse up into this position. So we reverse to there, and then we're going to, at that point, we're then going to just move slowly up to this position here. Whoops, hang on. Sorry, when I got that selected, that's going to be reverse, not move. So with that one selected, I'm just going to keep this guy, and then we're going to go move. Very important that we don't see a change in color there. There we go. So it's going to reverse to there, which means we shouldn't be seen by any of these guys. Then we're just going to move up into there. Now that's actually, it looks a bit low there, doesn't it? When we have a bit of a look at this, it looks like we're going to be a little bit too far. Let's just move this one into here, and that way we can sort of just see what's going to come around the other side. And so as it runs across the back here, we should then spot it. So it looks like that's what it's doing. We can certainly sort of make use of that. All right, just press number 3. With that one there, I want to make sure that my facing is directly down that side. So with that selected, I'm just going to press G and just face in that direction. And so that way we should be able to then get good fields of fire. We've got a 75mm versus 75mm. One thing we didn't have a look at was, well, we don't know, but I'm guessing it's a similar sort of armor to what we've got through here. So it's going to be fairly close. If we can destroy that tank, it looks like we've got one more big tank to come. The machine guns are going to have to deal with the other small vehicles. Now we've got one going up to there. I'm going to now move this one up slowly, so I'm just going to go and press the slow as this other one sort of then moves out. Actually, I'll just do Alt-P again, just so I can sort of see what everyone's actually doing. Let's go and pop this one just into here for starters, and then just have it so that it's actually facing back out this other side. Okay, so that's where we are with that one. This one is now out through here as well. I might as well use the machine gun from this one. I'm just going to press N, move it up into this position just around the corner, and then just press G, and we're just going to face out that side as well. So we'll just sit in next. Let's have a look and see how this one's now going. If we look at the special, deploy weapon is still 2 minutes, it's sort of saying through there. These guys are in position just in case anyone tries to flank. We've got this group in through here as well. They are hiding, which is I'm happy enough with. They're not hiding, that's okay as well. So if we have to scramble back that way, we can. We have another group in through there as well, just a half squad. This is the other half squad, so I could recombine them if I needed to. You know, I think I can actually do that. So let's go and get them to leave this building through that back door. So we'll just go and press N, just get them to move down, and then we'll move them across because they're not really going to be doing much in that area. So we'll just bring them over, and then what we'll do is once they arrive there, we'll then just get them to recombine. I think if I select that one, I'm not sure if I can do this one. I may need to do that one separately. Sorry, I've got someone here. Actually, I'm going to have to get going, guys, unfortunately, so I'll have to leave it here. But I think we're sort of given now all the orders that we needed to for this particular turn. So we'll actually just leave it where we are, and then when we start in the next episode, we'll then just play through, see where we go, see if we can actually catch this tank. That'll be an interesting thing for us to then try and do. So I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.